Hi ho cat guys, my name is Tangar and today I want to share with you my experience in Permadeath MMO. I played a lot of Permadeath games, not only online games, I played a lot of Roguelike games and I have a lot of experience in such field and I love this kind of game, so I want to tell you, today I want to tell you history of Permadeath gaming. I want to show you advantages and disadvantages of Permadeath and to show you new upcoming online games which would appear in several years, because you know Permadeath is becoming something like trend in online gaming right now again, because I think for 5-10 years it was like a really underground thing, and now players are really bored of common standard death mechanics. You know, when you play World of Warcraft, for example, or any online game, you have something like this. When you die and you have your little nice grave somewhere, you have to go to resurrect, you have to go from the spawn point, you have to spend some time, you pay for your death, you have to spend some time to get to this point and you could be rescued in this place. Also, you have to spend some money for repair your armor, for example. If you play Korean style MMOs like Arcade or Lion Cage, you also have to pay your experience for your death. Yeah, it's kind of now it's trend in MMOs. When you die, you have to spend something, but not much. But before, when online games just started, it was big era of roguelike games, and I like to play roguelike games. For example, I played NetHack several years. Yes, it's one of my favorite games. So in roguelike games, it's like RPG genre, hack and slash, one of the first hack and slash like games. So you have to start new character every time when you die, because Permadeath, let's make definition of this term. Permadeath, it's a model of gameplay when your death in the game is fatal. You can't resurrect your character, you have to create new character to continue your game. So first of all, of course, this mechanics was approved in roguelike games. Then also a lot of console games started to use permadeath mechanic because of, first of all, it was hard to save games in 70s or 80s. Not all consoles could save games. Also, some games developers made permadeath because of kinda loose gameplay. When gameplay in this game not really deep, it's very simple hint to create permadeath, so game would be very hard to play. So some developers made such a trick. So, but why permadeath in online games now? It's kind of interesting thing. I want to show you advantages of permadeath. First of all, it's economy. Why economy? Because when you die in World of Warcraft or in any game, you don't lose any of your stuff. Of course, there are full loot games like Ultima Online, Dark 4, Mortal Online and such other, but it's like underground games, not much people play. And in mainstream now, games with very loose economy, because when you don't lose anything of your stuff, when you don't lose items, character or gold, you have game with a lot of items. When people play, they generate new gold, new items, and this existing gold, it don't cost so much as before. So inflation killing economy, and in permadeath games, when you die, your items, your gold, it's destroyed from the game, and economy become more healthier. Yeah. So first economy. Second one, it's of course your cost. It's your value. Yeah. Big good word. It's value. Value of your character. Value of your time which spent to the game. You could set opposite that. Hey, where is the value I spent? For example, month of my life in my character, and now it's gone. Where is the value? I'll tell you. Value, it's when you gain your level, when you obtain new item, when you defeat your enemy with your character, which can die and disappear. You feel value of your deeds. In World of Warcraft, you could wipe like 100 times in the dungeon and nothing changed. So even if you put really stupid gamer and he would be face roll 4,000 times, he would do the hardest raid. And in Permadeath games, value, it's very when you making something deeds in this game, it's really value. You have it's really cost of your time. You feel it. You feel this. So next one is of course your emotions. I will say emotions, because in softcore games, emotions are more honest. When you die, you don't feel nothing. When you win, you don't feel nothing too. And in Permadeath games like Diablo 2, for example, Diablo 3, you feel really big adrenaline. You feel a lot of positive and a lot of negative emotion when you die. And it's kind of thing which we miss in traditional online games. Not much emotion in traditional online games, it's quite sad. So when you play, for example, in Diablo at softcore mode, when you die and nothing happens, it's a kind of, if you try to play it for 6 months, for example, and then go to hardcore, it kind of, you start to play a new game. When people come from normal games to Permadeath, they feeling other, they have other feelings, because in such world, in such so real world, so hardcore, when you feel danger, when you always have a lot of emotion, you're at the peak, you really sweat sometimes, and it's another emotions. So some people, some guys who played hardcore games, they can't go back to normal. One, because they don't have emotion there. So now I want, we will continue this theme later, but first of all I want to deep you in the history of Permadeath in online games. And also we would talk about new upcoming MMOs with Permadeath mechanics, because I believe that this kind of mechanic could be really innovating in this boring MMO world, which is now really staying on the place. But still at Permadeath it's not the same. You know, there are several kinds of Permadeath. Sometimes you feel you could, okay, let me just start from the history and you could understand everything. So I want to divide our table at 3 places. In this column I'll put easy, I'll tell it, I'll call it easy Permadeath games. It would be medium Permadeath games and hardcore Permadeath games. For example, hardcore Permadeath games, it's like Diablo 2. When Diablo 2 arrives, Diablo 2 arrived in 2000 years, 2000 year, 2000. So it had hardcore mode, and when you die in this mode, your character is gone. Even when PK kill you, when player killer hunt you down, you lose everything, and sometimes he could loot you if you made mistake and give him right to do it. So it was really a hard game. At easy games we could place here, for example, Ultima Online, because Ultima Online have quite hardcore thing. When you die as a player killer, in Ultima Online, you lose your stats and skills. So it's permanently, when you die, your character has, if you tell in World of Warcraft terms, it has decreasing your level. So stat loss, of course, and skill loss. So it's like you don't have big piece of your character is gone after death when you play PK. So this part of permadeath exists in Ultima Online. That's why we put it in easy, because your character is still here, but you have to gain skills again. You have to put a lot of time in your character. But in Ultima Online, it's not like in Lineage or in Archage, when you just lose 10% of your experience. It's like nothing. In Ultima Online, you lose a lot of things. So, guys, hardcore games with really hardcore permadeath, it's all, I'll tell, permadeath mechanics. In all these columns will be permadeath mechanics. Diablo was one of the first games which put permadeath as very serious game mode. So second was Ultima Online, of course, with the stat skill, but second was EverQuest, and EverQuest had hardcore server with permadeath. It called Discord. In 2003 there was a Discord server, and this server, when you die, your character is gone, that's all. It was kind of hardcore. Also, Star Wars Galaxy had, at the beginning, they had permadeath, but then they refused it. Now this game is dead, but also emulators working. You could try, by the way, Star Wars Galaxy, not bad game at all. So, guys, let's continue our big adventure to this history of permadeath. I want to put two easy column. One of my favorite MMOs, it's If Online. Why I put If Online here? Because in If Online, when you die, you lose your ship, but also if you forget to renew your clone, you would lose a lot of skill points, a lot of skills. And I personally, I forget it, I think 3 or 4 times. I lose a lot of skills, a lot of my time when I die. So it's easy, your character is still here, but you don't have ship after your death. It's like full loot system. Let's put here in easy permadeath. You could tell that it's like all games with full loot. I'll tell like this, because full loot, when you die and all your stuff is at your body and everyone could take it, it's like small death, I'll tell. For a lot of players, their equipment is like character. For example, in World of Warcraft, let's imagine that in World of Warcraft, when you die, your equipment dropped to the ground. It's like, wow, it's madness. A lot of players, they would lose their mind and such. So all games with full loot, like Darkfall, Mortal Online, and such, etc., would come here. But If Online, it's a special game because they have mechanics. If you don't renew your clone, your skill points go. So it's very important. Also, second generation of games, something like Minecraft, Terraria, such games with cubic things, they also have permadeath sometimes, but a lot of these games, they have client-client technology, not client-server. Character stored at your PC, so you could hack it and you could just don't die with permadeath. So I don't want to write down these games here. From new games, let's talk about quite new games. It's like Realm of the Mad God, Roguelike. You could Google this game to try it if you didn't try it yet. You see my pen dying, permadeath for my pen. So Realm of the Mad God. Let me write it simpler. The Mega. Realm of the Mad God. It's kind of new game. In this game you could die very easily and you lose your character, your stuff, everything. And I play this game, it's kind of nice thing. A lot of different content. It's kind of, as a first look it's simple, but when you play more you would like it. So another one is Salem. Maybe you heard about Salem game. It's also like Realms of God, it's browser flash game, or maybe Unity, I don't know, don't remember. Anyway, this game Salem, it's a game with very strong economy model, and you could build your house, you could have to defend your house, you have to defend yourself. If you get killed, it's the end of everything. So it's two modern games, they're still alive. All this game, it's like old one. Also, of course, we have Diablo 3 here. Diablo 3 has hardcore mode, and I play hardcore at Diablo 3, of course. Also, another Diablo-like game, it's Path of Exile. Path of Exile, kind of fun game if you like hack and slash. You have hardcore mode here. If you die, your character is gone. And of course, you could compare. Economy in permadeath games and just normal one. And you will see that in permadeath games economy is better. In permadeath games it's something different. If you didn't play permadeath games, you have to try. And second one, I want to tell you about medium permadeath games like Wizardry Online. This game already closed, but developers want to revive it. I have heard about North American server. They want to make another one. It's closed right now, but it's not really a good game and not really bad. I don't like it personally, but maybe it's interesting for you. They had something like permadeath, not full, but you lose some stats, something like this. But it's like hardcore game. So also there are survival games like DayZ, like Arma, Rust. So in these games you have elements of permadeath system. For example, in DayZ, when you die, your stuff is gone and you have to create a new character. So we could also write it here, but it's, you know, it's another genre, so I want to put it like here, DayZ, because when we would use, if we would add this kind of games, we have to put a lot of games here, because a lot of 3D shooters, they have similar mechanics. When you gain a lot of weapon, when you die, everyone could take this weapon. It's not really permadeath because you don't have any RPG element here. Here you have to develop your character a lot, spend your time in these characters. In that games, you don't have to spend so much time in your character to create one new one, and that's all. So let's speak now about new wave of permadeath games. You see, it's kind of interesting. When permadeath just started, it was like Diablo 2, then EverQuest, SVG. It was first wave of permadeath games, and it was like trend. It started like trend. Then World of Warcraft appeared, and everyone understand at this time that this model, it's not massive, not much people want to play such games. So it was like underground system. And now people players started to get boring in online games, because when you play in World of Warcraft for 10 years or in any another game and you do repeatedly boring actions, you do quests, you go dungeons, when you die and nothing changed, you don't have new emotions. Now people want to get new emotion, because it's like second generation of gamers already appear, and me, for example, I'm from first generation of online gamers. There are already second generation, and then and our generation, old generation, very massive one, we need new emotions, because it's too fucking boring for us to play old games. Old games with no hardcore. I don't tell you about hardcore when you have to play all your time. Hardcore, I mean value of your time, because you can't show your skill in softcore games. You can't show your when another man who go to school, for example, a small mate, he could play a lot of hours and have very cruel, cool character. And when he died, he didn't lose anything. And you are smart, but you play 2 hours per day. And so in World of Warcraft, for example, it's very hard to be cool, even if you're a skilled player. It's time. How much time you spend, it's factor of your coolness. And in permadeath games, it's nothing. You could spend a lot of time if you don't have skill. I'm sorry, you have to start another chapter. So now, guys, some developers, they understand that permadeath could be very useful in new generation of games. And we have some new approach. Not easy permadeath when you lose stats, skills, exp, and not hard when you lose everything. In medium, new generation medium gaming, online gaming, you have games like Trial of Unsession. So in this game, for example, it's now developed, MMORPG, not bad one. You could die per 100 times per one character. So when you die 100 times, your character disappears. You could be very careful guy and die very rare, or you could just go hardcore and die a lot of time. But still, it's not hardcore permadeath. It's mediocre permadeath, because you have a lot of chances with your character. It's kind of interesting conception. Another interesting conception, more free-to-play style, it's Origins of Malum. Origins of Malum, they have a limited amount of lives per day. So every day you could die like 3 times. If you die more, you have to wait. It's another conception. We could move, of course, Origins of Malum from here to easy one, because I think more hardcore when you have limited deaths per character, but still it's quite interesting new conception of permadeath. And now we approach to big hope of myself and a lot of players. It's Star Citizen. In Star Citizen, kind of interesting system in permadeath field. In Star Citizen, you could die a lot of times, but every time when you die, your character would gain scars. Citizen. You would have scars, you would have wounds, you have to put prostheses at your. If you could lose your hand or your leg or your eye in Star Citizen when you die. It's cosmic MMO, like if online concurrent, and in Star Citizen finally you could just time, and that's all. You have to create new character, but your character would receive some ships which you own with your main character which died already, and also you would have some, for example, reputation from this character. So it's not completely permadeath. You lose something but not all, and it's interesting. It's more interesting than in EVE Online, because in EVE Online now I heard they want to remove this pod system, so you can't now you couldn't lose any skill points. You could lose only your ship, that's all. And they would to make EVE Online less hardcore in this field. So in Star Citizen they don't want such things. They making something more hard maybe, but it's kind of interesting thing. Not so hard as in Diablo, when your character, you spend a month of your time, you're dead and that's all. No, in Star Citizen your next character would have some benefits from your previous one, and it's kind of fun for me. And also this system, when you die, you could lose your eye and you play your character next time with another appearance. It's kind of fun. So guys, you see, this system of permadeath, it's very interesting system, not so simple as a lot of players thinking. There are several approaches to this field, to this model, and I like that developers start to make new games, new AAA games, online games, with this conception, because I personally like this system, because also it's very interesting to play a game. It's very interesting to start over everything, because it's sometimes so boring to play with your character of maximum level. Of course you could delete it, but when you have character wipe at the server, for example, it's kind of interesting thing that it's nice to play when everyone young. It's interesting to start with other people when massive of people starting again, because in our reality, in real life, we don't have such thing. We have born when you born in your city, when you born in your village, you don't have everything like another one. I'm trying to understand it. I'm trying to. Guys, so all have equal rights when server resets, and in real life we don't have such possibilities. Every time, always other people, they have something more than you. Somebody would have more than you, or a lot of people would have less than you. And this honest competition in real life, it's very rare. That's why in online games people like to start over, start new characters. A lot of people like vibes at the servers. That's because you could start, all have clear hands, all have equal possibilities. That's why permadeath is nice also, because a lot of players die, a lot of players have to create new characters, and they have equal possibilities. Okay guys, please write your comments, please write comments below this video. I'll read everything, and I hope you could tell me about another permadeath games or just hardcore games, please follow, let's discuss it. And please subscribe to my channel, I'll make more interesting videos for you. With love from Russia, bye bye. Yeah.